Hi and welcome. In this video, I will discuss certain administrative controls which you implement over people in an organization in order to ensure the information security of that organization. The purpose of these administrative controls is to protect the CIA or confidentiality, integrity, and availability of informations and systems of an organization while the people in that organization are performing their routine operations using IT systems. The first administrative control is the least privilege, and in this administrative control, you grant access rights to users based upon their job requirements, and not more than that. The mandatory access control model, where the system regulates everything, actually implement this least privilege by granting access to subjects based upon their clearance level and based upon the classification or the labels of objects. So if the clearance level of subject is equivalent or more than the classification level of object, then that subject is granted access to that object. The discretionary access control model, where user has a discretion over the use of its created objects, may implement this principle of least privilege by granting access to other users based upon the business requirements. Need to know is another administrative control which is more granular than the least privilege, and in least privilege the catchword is the access rights, and in need to know the catchword is the information. So in this need to know administrative control, the user is granted access to a particular piece of information if he has a business need to know that particular information. So MAC or the mandatory access control model is not sufficient over here, and you have to implement the concept of compartmentalization, wherein a subset of user is granted access to the a subset of user is provided with that particular piece of information, and rest all users have no knowledge of that information, because there is no business requirement to need to know that information. The separation of duty or SOD is another administrative control, and the purpose is to prevent a user or to divide a critical business function between multiple users, so that a single user won't be able to perform a critical business function altogether. So one example is the separation of duties or responsibilities between security guys and O&M guys. So security guys are basically responsible to monitor the violation of information security controls or information security policies of an organization, and then the O&M guys are responsible for operations of IT systems. So security guy has no right or access to the operations or to the configuration of the devices of that organization, and that job is performed by O&M guys. So once you implement this administrative control of separation of duty, then it requires collusion or cooperation between two malicious insider or the malicious user or the malicious admin to perform a critical business function. So there are more chances of detection of frauds. Then another administrative control is the rotation of duty, and it basically prevent user or a single individual to perform a critical business function for longer duration without interruption. So basically you rotate his responsibility, so any excess aggregation or the excess right which he has gathered over a period of time get revoked. Moreover, it also covers the single point of failure in case this individual leaves the job or met an accident. So another individual is available to perform his duties. So basically, the purpose is also to carry out cross training of resources between different domains. So in case if single resource is missing, then another person is available to perform his duties. And it also helps in fraud detection, and it is also a deterrent control, because it prevents it deter a malicious user to perform or a critical business function for malicious purposes, or to manipulate this business function, because he knows that his job or responsibility will be rotated and he will be caught. The mandatory leave or forced vacation is another information security control, wherein you send a person on leave, and all the advantages of rotation of duties also implies over here, because it also prevents a single user or admin to perform a critical business function for longer duration without interruption. Then this non-disclosure agreement is another administrative control, and basically you carry out this non-disclosure agreement or contract prior to granting access to an individual to systems and information. So then he becomes legally liable if he disclosed the proprietary data or information of an organization to another third party. So the candidates for job or the vendor or consultant have to sign this NDA or non-disclosure agreement before they are granted access to enterprise resources. Then this background check is another administrative control, and basically it is carried out to screen the candidates once they are employed on a job. And you can check whether they have performed any crime in the past, or their technical expertise, or their educational background. And you can also mandate a drug screening test or submission of a drug screening test by these users. So it is basically a preventive control once you are using it before employing anyone. So basically the gravity or the level of this investigation or background check depends upon the job sensitivity for which an individual is being hired. So you carry out more checks for sensitive jobs and less checks for normal jobs. So after employing that individual, you also carry out post checks, which actually serves as a detective and deterrent control. Another administrative control is the privilege account management or monitoring, and basically you monitor the admin accounts or admin rights. For example, if he is responsible for creating the accounts or rebooting the system or restoring the backups or carrying out backups, or actually this is source code. So if he is accessing the source code, why he is accessing that code, and if he is carrying out any modification of the logs or any modification of the configuration. So basically you carry out the monitoring of all the activities of the admin, because the super user or is a biggest insider threat of an organization to an organization. So at the end, I would say that all these administrative control or any control would be implemented based upon cost benefit analysis. And if the cost benefit analysis dictates that the cost of this administrative control is more than what you are getting out of it, then you should not implement that administrative control. So this was all from my side. Please stay connected to my channel for similar videos. Thank you.